and girls, men and women, dogs and cats watching this in the future. So during the last stream, we got some text editing here, meaning that we're actually able to update some data fields with our UI here. We created some scrolling functionality, some dist boxes, some different stuff here that we can use to create a UI, or rather a level editor. So the idea is that we kind of like have to refactor some stuff here. Bye, Paul. Yeah, we obviously don't need any of this. And yeah, let me see. Second commit. Let me just update the GitHub repo here. And no, it's not public. So right now our application does a lot of different stuff. Not only does it initialize a series of dependencies that we have in our program. We shouldn't create the whole UI system anymore since it's not needed. Yeah, we don't need the whole UI system anymore. I don't think we need these, but let's see. Let's check our application. We only used the new. Let's see if everything compiles. Nothing compiles correctly here. Let's see, build resources, handle messages. Oh yeah, okay, so we need the Windows X. Let's see, let's include it in here, Windows X. There we go. We would probably like access to those features in different parts of the program. Okay, so right now our application does a lot of stuff. Whenever we initialize our application, we of course create our window here with the application set width and height. When it runs, it handles the messages, it does its update, and then it's on draw. Does on draw actually do anything? I think, yeah. If I were to redo this, I wouldn't do it this way. I would simply have a update draw step in our application. Anyway, when we create the application, it loads some fonts. Yeah, it initializes the UI with a specified font. Let's see, we can load that font as well. We set up a UI context here. Create UI stuff. And we initialize the renderer. Temporary stuff. And this is basically what we want to remove from this part of the application. We would like for our application to do something like loading a level, unloading a level, and yeah, handling stuff like that instead. Um, maybe loading a physics system, maybe um, yeah, coupling different stuff. But the application itself probably shouldn't be building the actual resources. So yeah, it's fine that it initializes some different stuff in terms of different controllers and so forth. That would be to be expected. Camera controls, input stuff. But yeah, I don't think that the update step of the uh, application itself actually should handle much of the object creation itself or handling of itself. Um, we would also like, we have a different, a lot of different types of structure where we wouldn't mind to be able to maybe store this somewhere. The meshes, well, where should those be stored? Some, yeah, the transforms, are they composed of, yeah, what are they composed of? Texture transforms, I mean, all this stuff here, I think this needs to be removed as well. This is going to be renamed into a rigid body. Should be rigid body. And actually this should be struct of arrays. Meaning that each component is something that potentially at least should be stored by itself. Okay. Is this the start of a major refactor, or should I do the refactor whenever I start doing gameplay mechanics? Well, how do you discriminate between Well, when you're using map memory, you're not using the CPU-sided memory. It's a different allocation. It's on the GPU. It's probably some way, in terms of how your code is written, it's probably not true. Well, somewhere there's probably something in terms of the assembly language or something that makes the difference. But I don't know, maybe the PCI lane is faster than the actual memory bus on the CPU, but it doesn't make any sense. So it's probably code or compiler related somewhere. But you can look it up. Uh, if it doesn't make sense, it's probably because some weird change happens somewhere. CPU memory speed versus PCI lane. Could also be a measurement. It doesn't seem likely that you have faster memory transfer through the PCI lane. Anyway, so we should yeah. Also, if you're aligning a lot, maybe the write isn't as fast that you would expect, because the pointer has to jump further ahead if you're aligning memory versus not aligning memory. But anyway, it just seemed like a bug somewhere. either in your code or the testing utilities. All right, so let's see. So the generalized idea is that we would like a level container level, let's quote that, container which handles loading and saving of world objects slash a scene, should be able to load all objects as dynamic for editing, but also static for baking a scene that is supposed to be playable. um, that's the primary responsibility of a level slash scene container. Then do we want some kind of object storage? Well, that's what I've been asking myself over and over. Maybe we should just roll with something and then we can always decide that it doesn't work. But an object storage of sorts could be rewritten so that it could be a object storage that stores a lot of aligned components in memory, and then whenever you want some kind of complex component that consists of different mm, information, you would ask the object storage to compile a maybe yeah, I think we should do something like that. A object storage thing. The label container will contain information about well, are they kind of the same thing? The problem is that the whole application would like access to the different components slash data structures revolving around our game world. The level container should also want to access some of them. For instance, quad trees for collision detection and different update systems or whatever kind of bounding volume we decide on in terms of separating the level into sections. Um, well, that could be baked during a level creation. But it would like to use the specific objects, their rotation, scale, and translation, at least, and their texture and their material. Um, because right now we just do it all in our application, and it's easy to use in that regard that all the data is just available. But it also means that we have a lot of different stuff here. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So the application should have a static singleton object storage of some kind that can also create handles. Hmm. Well, it's basically, do we want a lot of this functionality here, all of this data storage here, to be handled at a central place, and for every part of the application to refer to that central data storage? It would be somewhat like a component system, but But what would the level editor do then? You could create a game object with a mesh, with a texture, with a transform. Do I do some meta programming in terms of creating different storage containers for each kind of component? That would be a way to allow different ways of storing information. Otherwise, we would need a few ints to control the allocation data sizes. And we simply interpret memory chunks as objects of different types. Hmm. Well, we could simply just do the easy one and let the level handle all of um, this information here. And we can simply, for this physics system, create some methods that handle the object information. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to do it right now when we don't know the needed architecture in terms of gameplay mechanics. Do we need a central object store? Right now, our level container will also be our object. It will also be our object store of sorts. Okay, we will do that. Okay. Systems, file handling, timing, renderer, physics, models. Yeah, I'm not sure this structure here makes any sense. We have some cameras, we have some game objects, we have some input is really great. Physics is also really great. UI is really great. Utilities, models. Maybe models should be moved into the game objects. Hello, welcome back. For now, we will just do like this levels, and let's do a level system. Yeah, I'm not gonna work on it unless we end up in a situation where I need to add some functionality to the UI. So for now, it's kind of like paused. Uh, I mean, do we in physics? The level system will for now be our a container that both has the overall object storage for the whole application, meaning that you can right now load objects, create objects in a level, both static and dynamic, and the level container will contain all of that information, and it will be able to write that into a file in the future, uh, so that you can create static worlds that are possible to preload on the GPU, um, and kind of like bake. Also with if you were to do something like light maps, you could bake a light map from the scene and then save that to file and then load the level during game runtime, and that would um, optimize the rendering and everything for the actual gameplay. Um, yeah, I was contemplating whether to do a proper object store, uh, which would store basic object components, but um, what I can create with it, well, I can couple it with a UI, and then we can just um, add and remove objects, change their textures, change their positions, and so forth. So it's something like that I had in mind. Let's see, GXE API here. Uh, so yeah, that's the way I decided to do it. No, I'm not gonna add scripting. That doesn't make any sense for me, at least. I mean, why would I add scripting when I do everything in C++ anyway? I mean, C++ is faster than Lua or Python by light years. So, I mean, what would the actual scripting language do, other than just slow everything down. Ah, well, yeah. Since it will only be me using the engine, I don't think there's a lot of iteration time for that saved with that kind of system in terms of how long it would take to implement. Let's see. Level system. Am I really doing this? Maybe I just want. Okay. Maybe I need. Well, you haven't gotten a license yet. Okay. Let's do separate. Well, do we separate? Huh. Do I need a separate level system? We'll see how it turns out. If it seems a bit fun or something, yeah, I'll probably release it. But I would have to make sure that it runs on different platforms. And right now, most of the math is in AVX 512, so that would mean that it won't run on all CPUs. I should probably change that to be something like, well, yeah, something like SSE2 or something. Okay, so maybe we don't want something called level system. Maybe we just want a level for now. Let's not create too much stuff here for now. Alright. You haven't registered that this is fine. Okay. There we go. Okay. So our general outline for this is something, let's see. Let's move all this and then save this as the roadmap. We would like something like this to be implemented. So we need some publishing a website. Let's see, and we want some initializer function here. We also want something called load level. We also want to, nah. You upload it to some kind of server, and then you buy a domain and bind that domain to a specific DNS server that routes the domain to a specific either web server or platform where your HTML and PHP or Java or JavaScript is stored. Yeah, usually, but it's not much these days. Let's do a unsigned int ID here, or in the future we want a const char pointer file path. This will be deprecated for now, or rather not implemented for now. Okay. So our application here will contain some levels. Let's say that all of that helper systems. All right. And during initialization, when we have created our application, we initialize the renderer. Well, that's why we call it level system, I guess. Well, yeah, I can't remember what is the game supposed to be about. But if you ever run into trouble publishing, let me know. I can easily help you out there. I used to do web development back in the day, so and there's a lot of free utilities. I mean, yeah, let's do a level system here. Let's call it that instead. Okay, I changed my mind. Okay, when we undefined levels, let's just do level system then. Yeah, you just use some free commercial platform if you want to be speedy, like something like WordPress or something like that. So we initialize, maybe we want some preloading of some meshes here, maybe some preloading of some textures. Yeah, maybe maybe I want to initialize this because that's the first thing. Because if we can't do that, there's no point actually doing anything. Let's do an if check. This is not supposed to be fast, so we can branch. If it doesn't work, we return. Uh, couldn't start initialize rather renderer. Okay. Start the level system. Right now it doesn't do anything, but it might in the future. Mm. Create renderer resources uh, end of renderer stuff. Let's do capsia renderer init. So yeah, this build resources and preload static objects is supposed to kind of like get dismantled. Let's just load a basic level system. Load level 0. So we will migrate a lot of this stuff. So yeah, this basically, if ID equals 0, we will do some stuff here. So inside our build resources here, we have a whole lot of different information, textures. Well, we also need to couple that with our renderer. We will create something private data storage area. Let's do that for now. Okay, let's migrate all of this the easiest way possible. So that means we simply copy all of this information here and clean it up afterwards. Yeah. Cameras, maybe we skip cameras for now. Because I'm not sure that the cameras are supposed to be inside a scene. Is it? Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But the camera control itself. Mm. Hmm. Okay. For now, we will keep it here. So we move the camera, but the lights textures are not set here. The lights, the materials, the meshes, the game objects, the dynamic objects, which are more game objects, the transforms in particular, texture transforms for each object, characters and physics. Let's move that because, well, I'm not sure I'm gonna move that yet because it's going to be refactored anyway. So let's see. We will keep this here for now. It will be refactored in the future, but at least this should be part of our base level here. So let's just paste that and move some stuff here. We want to move the lights. Let's see. Camera controller, player controller, game object data. We definitely need a copy of that. All right. Let's do some meshes here. Let's do that early. Materials. Texture transforms. Static and dynamic game object data. Let's do some bounding boxes. These are the you don't find it fun? No, it's way more verbose, as far as I know. So the level system, of course, needs to be able to access this. So there we go. Now, let's remove this called editor game objects. Okay, so right now we have physics components and we have cameras, and we have something called characters, which I don't think I use. So let's delete that. Yeah, the standard library does a lot of things for you, but usually, yeah, I feel like that the standard library is great for fast iterations, but if you want performance systems, you probably would do your own implementations of a lot of different stuff, at least for data containers. Okay, so let's do rigid body here. I know it's rigid body because that's what it is. It's a rigid body. No way around it. Let's do rigid body. Yeah, okay. So inside our level system here, we have some yeah. I don't think we do characters anymore. I mean, this is so messy. I think I kind of like remove the whole character situation there earlier. I don't think there's a lot of code really using it anymore. Rigid body. Let's see. Let's remove these characters here. This is just a whoops, a physics object. Let's see. It's a rigid body, of course. Physics. Let's see. I'll store that for the future. Okay, so now our current resources are kind of like mostly removed from our application. As you can see here, everything is a bit more nicely arranged. The application stores some font data, that is fine. It has a renderer, it has a frame timer, it has, well, the OBJ reader is not needed anymore. We can add that. Private systems. So we can actually move that OBJ reader out of here and into this, and I think we need to step out of that directory. Okay, so I'm unsure whether I actually need this anymore. Yeah, I can clean up the headers afterwards, but as you can see here, we are, and this would also have a physics system. Right now it's part of the application, but we will remove that code from this part of the application eventually, I think. So let's see, current application systems. And we would also like to update a lot of these temporary values. But as far as our level loading goes here, We simply, oh, I renamed that. In which files do you consider, Murray? In here, in the actual header files? Whoops. Oh, I can see my chat is not really updated here. Let's refresh the YouTube chat as well. Okay, it wants another one. Let's see. Let me get the fast YouTube chat on. Yep. There we go. I'm not sure what you're considering. No. You never want to use that typing in the header file. Never in the header file. Maybe in the CPP file it's fine, but it's a huge mistake to use it in your header files, because if you have different types that overlap with the standard library, you would end up defining using namespace std for every file that includes that particular header file. So that's not great. You could do it in the CPP file. Well, it all boils down to how namespaces work. So it would only make sense in the CPP files, never in the header files. You don't want to do that, as I've mentioned, but yeah, since I do it in the header files, well, it also, if you do it in your header files, it creates a lot of different problems. So it might solve one problem, but just creates a series of new problems. So yeah, and oh well, yeah, I don't mind typing it. Sometimes I do. Whenever I create a namespace that I know I will be using often, I do. But yeah, for instance, this I could use. Um, I could just use the namespace up here. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, and this is also something that we need to rework a bit. The player controller here. Preloading of the static data. Well, since we are building the level editor, we will not create any static game objects for now. We will keep on building this temporary initialization of cameras and physics components. Let's see. So did I delete that? No, I shouldn't have. Oh, I need to change this, of course. I have created a lot of refactoring here. So let's do that. Rigid body. Uh, let's just start at the top here. Rigid body. Rigid body. I should say it every time I paste, huh? That would be really good content. Really good content. Rigid body, rigid body, rigid body. And this error here. Oh, I also need to update the header file, otherwise we will still have the problems. Okay, that's just some renaming, and that solves that error. And we simply replace this with a 0 because I'm pretty sure we're not initializing any other components. Okay. We also have to expand a lot of this. Let's see. The particle system is disabled. We don't mind saving it for now. Okay, we will refactor these errors here when we are done with our level editor / level system here. So all of this is just probably going to work okay, except for that, the utils there. Let's see, is it in utils here? Math.cpp, and that's the buffer alignment. That's not helping anyone. The light data is not defined. Oh, I think the light data is actually inside the renderer. So yeah, we should migrate that. Let's just ignore that for now. So yeah, the texture transforms. I renamed the buffer here /array. And we include the bounding box. Is it inside the physics actually? Or let's see, utils. Calculate bounding box. Where did we define that? Oh, game object, help us. Okay. Game object, help us. We don't need to do it in the header file. We need to do it in the CPP file. The light data is now still erroneous. Okay. So the generalized idea is that this is actually a renderer type, since the renderer uses these data arranged in this structure here for lighting computations, but I guess you would kind of like to discriminate between a quote unquote game object, kind of like light, and a rendering data structure that just contains some basic lighting information. We could refactor into a different type outside of the renderer system, but we won't do that for now. Right now, we're just trying to migrate this code here. So let's see, in our renderer, we have some renderer data structures, and as you can see, everything is fine now. So we basically migrated a lot of this loading stuff here to our level system. Right now, it's an sort of object storage as well. As I mentioned in the start of the stream, I was considering whether to have a separate object storage, but the object system itself is going to be changed because we want a highly parallelizable object system where you can do a lot of struct of arrays of different micro components that are used to compilate different component archetypes that are used in different systems. So, and they need to be highly contiguous in memory, and so that we do not get a lot of cache misses. And we also want to be able to chunk our different computations so that we can do multi-threading. So therefore, I would probably migrate this into a different system. Maybe we also want some handles down the line, like globally unique identifiers or something. But yeah, for now, we will create a temporary solution where we will create a private level system, static level system here that we can access, although right now we don't need to actually implement that. Okay. We would like for this system to be able to pull about the information that we need inside our application for now. And let's just look. Yeah, here we wanted some static bounding boxes and static dynamic bounding boxes. It's for our player controller. We will, of course, rewrite parts of that system whenever it's needed. But yeah, okay. So we want static bounding boxes and dynamic bounding boxes, AABB. Static bounding boxes, that's a bad name. So now we have the option of renaming a lot of stuff. So we have a bounding volume AABB and a bounding sphere OBB. Do the names follow that? Well, we have some base objects here based on mesh data, and then we have some information later on. Let's see. Yeah, let's rename a lot of this stuff. So we have static and dynamic game objects. That's fine. So we will use static objects equals baked environment objects, and we will have dynamic objects that is moving regularly updated objects. And when we're in level editor mode, everything is dynamic because we need to be able to move our objects live. We need to make sure our renderer updates everything when we drag it around, if you change the shape and size, and we don't want to spend time uploading the data to the actual default heap on the GPU. So therefore, we will load everything as dynamic. So that means we want a, let's see, enum class here, class load type, no gigads, no gigads, please. And we will have the default, which will be, yeah, the default, and then dynamic only. And we will pass in a const load type here. Load type, which will be predefined as load type. Yeah, default for now. So the load type will make us force a different way of loading. Right now we aren't using it for anything, but up here should be dynamic for level editing. It's just, well, let's just do that. It doesn't change anything, but then we won't forget it. Okay, back to the renaming of stuff. I got distracted. So yeah, we have lights, materials, texture transforms. These are actually kind of like object related components. So I think they should follow the actual objects. Materials are maybe a bit more of a generalized data structure. So are the lights. We could actually argue that the lights are a different kind of thing in of itself. The materials follow the objects mostly. And then we have some static bounding boxes and dynamic uh, bounding boxes. But as you can see, the name is pretty stupid here. So we might as well update that because we have since migrated into a system that also has OBBs. Most of our static meshes will have AABBs right now, but that could change in the future. Yeah, let me see. Just a sec. I need to adjust some stuff here. All right. Okay, so when we are asking for our objects here, we are asking for our AABBs here. We want the player to not collide with any AABBs. And as I remember, warning, no ownership and vector resize management implemented. So this is some bad stuff. Maybe we should disable the actual collision detection on the player controller for now until we decide on a different system. Check collisions. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Or we could just pass the reference to it. But the problem is this will resize and we will lose the actual pointer, which is not great. Or is it? No, it's only a pointer to the vector itself. So, okay, that's better. That's better. It's not great, but it's definitely better. I was fearful that that our system didn't do things properly. I mean, in the UI system, there's a nightmare of reallocation problems that we need to fix, and I was just wondering if I had been so stupid to actually create the exact same problem here, but I see that I was clear-minded enough not to do something bad like that. Okay, so let's just do an inline function here. Inline and pass out a reference to this. Get bounding a BBs. And we simply return. Let's see, get static, bounding boxes, ABBs. There we go. And now we can simply swap level system, get static bounding boxes. Let's see, we can't. Let's get the reference to that. Or rather the address of it. Well, a reference is an address, so I guess both things were correct. So we do the same thing here. Dynamic bound AABBs. Dynamic bounding boxes AABBs. Yeah, we don't need a semicolon here. Level system. There we go. So now that's fixed. We want, of course, this is some initialization, loading time functions. We want a update function here. Float time step in case we need it. We won't be doing anything right now, but we will probably migrate the UI stuff. Let's see. So for now, we do not do this. Okay, we need to do that eventually. We don't need the asynchronous testing of the UI. This is just input polling, a buggy step mode implementation that can get deleted. Let's do some. No, we already had some indenting. Okay. Now we have more testing here. Let's see. I probably didn't delete that, although I was supposed to. Let's see. So we have some ray casting. Okay, we can close this. Start of regular update loop. Let's do a level system here. Update. Time step here. Our duration here, I don't think we need to do that because I'm pretty sure we're not even using this anymore, but we will see. Debug point data. Let's see inside the physics loop. Let's do the time step here. Dynamic bounding boxes. Okay, OBBs. You guessed it, we're gonna create an inline function here. Get dynamic bound OBBs. Great stuff. And we actually, let's see, the particles here could be closed off. Nothing in there. So static bounding boxes. Did I? No, I didn't close off something. Oh, I did I? Yeah. No, I didn't. There we go. Transforms. Yeah, we will just overwrite this physics part because, yeah, maybe we should just disable physics actually for now. Yeah, maybe we want to re-implement the physics once we're done with the level stuff. Uh, okay, we will update whatever we need here, but we will probably turn it off. No, it's just temporary, but um, but anyway, I've decided not to do it for now. We might run into trouble down the line. Okay, we can get the object transforms here. M level system. Get object transforms. And we want the let's rearrange these as they should be somewhat in order. Dynamic objects. Get dynamic objects. Nah. And we will return the dynamic game objects here. Wow, that's a lot of line jumping here. Okay. dynamic game objects, number 0, and a transform. Okay, so this is done. The object transforms here. Did I miss something up here? I think there's an error somewhere. Am I missing something? Oh, there we go. For some reason, I created a separate duration when I was testing the physics system because I wasn't sure that the actual time step was fine, but yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so that's the visual stuff. Let's see. Inside this, we also need the correct time step. Okay, this will be just 0 because we won't waste any time on that. There we go. We disable that awful character kind of system. Base bounding boxes. Okay. And I actually think it's pretty much the same, right? Base bounding boxes. Base bound OBBs. And let's see, our there we go. Let's see, level system git. And this is basically the same code here. There we go. That's the same, right? Yeah. Seems like it. Let's see. Inside here, we basically use the physics components, so not a lot of updating there. Okay. I'm pretty sure, even though the errors might get fixed, that we will still need to do some different refactoring here. Let's see. Layer controller stuff. Dynamic bounding spheres. Let's just copy this. get dynamic bound spheres. Okay. The dirty objects, well, we don't use that anymore, I think. Do we? No, I don't think so. Temp objects, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we need the lights. Get light data. Okay. Whoops. Get light data. Get light data. mRenderer. Yeah, we can't submit this. What? Oh, well. Oh, that's word for referencing. Let's see. Let's see, how far have we come? We want our meshes here. Get meshes. Mesh. There we go. And level system get meshes. Level system static APPs. Level system dynamic OBPs. Level system dynamic spheres. Update dirty objects. We really don't do that anymore, so let's just update with the past data here. That's an old method. So now we simply use our past data. Let's submit our level system. Level system get. We don't have a texture transforms. It's texture transforms, text transforms, texture transforms. There we go, and M level system get meshes. Okay, let's see how much more code we need to fix. Okay, renaming here, rigid body. Also in the, that's a header, so that's fine. That's also the header here. Oh, okay. I need to include that in the header instead. There we go. Rigid body. Let's see, let's start. How many more errors do we get? 5 errors. Okay, maybe we want to separate that into a CPP file. So let's see, let's close all of this here because we don't need that. So inside our game object folder here, data help us here. So the problem is now that we have multiple defined symbols, meaning that whenever we include this, we do redefinitions of this object here. A simple way to fix that is simply to create a CPP file. Where we will move our code into. So all of this is going to be copied and pasted here. It will include the PCH, of course, and include the game object helpers. And then we will simply remove this definition. Okay, everything should be fine now. Okay, must return a value. Okay, must return a value. There we go. Let's see how much have changed. Well, some things do have changed. I don't remember the game looking like this. Okay, so there are some different bugs. Some of the bugs are in terms of the static data not getting transferred because it's no longer static, or at least the way we load it is not supposed to be static. Okay, inside our application here, we might, yeah. I did some editor transforms, which is fine that I don't do them anymore. We do not pre-allocate any static data, meaning that we do not have any materials, we do not have any lights, we do not have anything. Because it was handled during this function call. I think if we do something like this, even though it's not what we're supposed to do, but let me just implement it, things will look a bit better. Let's do, there we go. Get materials here. Um, I don't know why I have to pass in an OBJ reader. Actually, because I don't think I use it. Maybe I reference it. I actually don't think I use it anymore. Anyway, so let's remove that. Even though we will disable this function eventually. Let's see. Align. Get static objects. Okay. Level get static objects. There we go. Mesh reader. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I need to do it anyway. At least for now. Mesh reader reference. So, inline obj reader reference get obj reader and return obj reader. M level system that get obj reader. There we go. Great stuff. So we're back. But everything has now been moved. Meaning that, yeah, well, everything can be rearranged here. Let's see if I if I simply yeah, so all of it was related to the initialization of the data. I think well, so how would we do the coupling here? Because we would like to be able to change our materials, for instance. Okay, well, maybe we won't support material updating yet. So in terms of building a level editor, what do we want to support? Let's see, let's close all of this. So for now, it has a lot of different container stuff here. I think it was nice to clean up this application side thing. I don't think we need this anymore. I'm pretty sure also that context there should probably move to the UI, pragma, region, graveyard here. Pragma and region. There we go. Yeah, these are different testing variables that we will use for now. This should be moved in the future, and we should be left with some application stuff. Let's see, GXE API, yeah. Camera controller, maybe. At least this has the GXE API. Okay. Okay. So we want to support yeah, we also need to this is redundant. Let's move. Dynamic object creation should be removed from this part of the loop here. Debug mode, yeah. We need to rewrite large parts of this. So I just wanted to move that. Anyway, functionality of level editor. Add, remove objects, swap materials, textures, move, scale, rotate. This is the starting functionality. Then down the line, to do future, edit materials, edit texture, texture, transforms. Okay. Load, use new meshes is also something that we want to do. And the reason why this is future stuff is because of copying information to the GPU default heap is needed. We could do that. We have the linear buffer system, which we could use, but we need to couple different systems here to make that feasible. So for now, we will manipulate whatever game object data that is actually stored here and that is transferred to the GPU for rendering calls. All right. So that's the plan. We have migrated stuff outside of this. We don't need that. Flags, system flags. Yeah, I think the cleanup was highly needed. So our UI stuff here. Let's move the editor context as well. Well, it's just static, so we can do whatever we need to. Yeah, so our level system here inside the update function. Will handle our UI rendering here. So let's move that. somewhere else. Inside here. Let's not use that. Okay, maybe we can just move those tester values here. Let's see, has been run. We don't need to do that anymore, I think. Testing values. Inside our application here. Okay. Let's see, let's include the UI. UI new. And let's replace that level subsystem. Okay. Temp value. Oh well. Let's just set that to 0. It was coupled to the UI. Let's do that during initialization. Does everything still behave as it should? Yeah, it does. Okay. Okay. This is a bug. Did I not remove it in here? Maybe I didn't. Did I? Yeah, I did. Let's close this load level stuff here. For some reason there's a bug somewhere. For some reason there's a bug somewhere. Yeah, for some reason it thinks that it's the same ID of sorts, but that's not what it is. I don't know why it's actually changed during the moving of the oh, maybe it's the update of the UI system here. On create, but on update. Well, no, it's still bugged. Okay, I'll debug that eventually. I mean, uh, and handle and let's see, is it because it's no? Well, it shouldn't be. Our label. Well, that's beyond me right now. Mm, I mean, let's delete that. I don't need that anymore. Maybe we want. Well, I simply moved this. Let's try dumping the handle because that doesn't make any sense. Print handle should be different for each. Nope, the handles are the same. That's why. The label itself is fine. Yeah, for some reason, the label doesn't work as well anymore. Let's see if I add a 1 here. Text field. Let's just add it up here so whenever we compute it, let's record window. Text field here. So when we compute the handle, the handle is exactly the same. Compute item handle. Maybe we want a UN32 here instead. I mean, it didn't change anything. These are different, but is it maybe when I'm just if I change this, the handles should be different for both of them because yeah. Yeah, so I need to fix my handle system here. Uh, mm, fix bugs. Fix when the handle doesn't get computed correctly due to the std string label not changing content. Okay. Yeah, so that's the problem with the UI that I need to fix. Let's see. I don't print anything to the console, right? Okay, let's see. And if I simply disable most of the UI, Well, then we're back to a lot of frames. Let's see. What on earth is that? Hello. Are you sure your memory allocation and stuff like that is working as intended? Or are you running it in debug mode? Sometimes Visual Studio does accumulate some garbage in its memory, and there are some bugs. Okay. Okay, so we've migrated everything into our level system here. The next steps, which I might work on tomorrow, will be to implement uh, a dynamic only mode, both level and renderer. Yeah, so that's it. That's the first step. Plan a description. Steps. Okay. So even though we just migrated stuff, I do think that um, it was needed in terms of being able to actually build a level editor here. Mm. I actually also need to fix that you can't create list boxes from own dataset yet. Okay. So we need a dynamic mode, static mode for our object stuff here. I do think I'll temporarily disable the physics to get everything working. Yeah. But I'll do a break. I'll go grab some food, probably go to the gym, and then maybe I'll do more work later on. I think that today has been a productive day since we got done with the text field editors. Yeah. I do that a lot. But as you know, I'm not really a professional programmer, so I'm just a faker. Anyway, this was some great stuff. Um, well, that's way too much. That's probably an overstatement, but thank you anyway. So now we have moved our stuff here. We kind of like coupled a lot of different stuff to what do you call it? A level system of sorts, which will handle our loading and creation of our different data. The next step will be to handle this static data stuff. I think it's fine to create some meshes, some materials, and I think that should be it for our dynamic what do you call it? Dynamic mode. So yeah, we will detach this and build a system that is dynamic mode only, which means that every frame the object data gets uploaded to the GPU so that we can manipulate it. And after that, we will add some tools to change our objects in real time using the UI. And of course, create and destroy objects if we need to. Performance in this mode will not be a priority, but of course we don't want everything to stutter. So yeah, we need to, of course, be mindful that we don't do anything stupid. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, we will of course have to couple our debugging information as well. I'm pretty sure we do that somewhere. Yeah, give it a break, man. I'm gonna do it. I feel a bit unfocused as well, so yeah. Give it a break, man. If we're in debug mode, let's see. Whoops. Ah, yeah. We get the ABBs. That's happening automatically. That's great. Okay. All right. I really got to go, I think. I'm starting to feel a bit tired and very hungry, so yeah. I'm somewhat unsure whether I'll be back later today, otherwise I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, it seems like it. Um, Thanks for everyone who's been watching today or maybe in the future. Feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Um, yeah, and thanks to everyone who supports the channel by dropping by, hanging out, interacting. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, stay healthy, stay strong, and remember to take your breaks. See you around, hopefully.